Here we have verse 29 of the 4th chapter of the Gospel of John. The woman at the well has just heard Jesus say to her that he is the Christ. And of course she seems to in a flash recognize the truth of it. It's at that very moment that the disciples have returned from the city, having picked up some lunch, and they of course happen on this scene quite astonished at what they're witnessing, Jesus speaking to this Samaritan woman. She may be triggered by the arrival of the disciples, or possibly simply because the conversation had reached such a climactic conclusion, abandons her water pot there, heads back into the city, and goes and talks to the men in the city. And of course the sentence, which was suspended half through in verse 28, picks up now in verse 29 with this word deuta. Deuta is an interjection. It simply means come. It's really not a word you would decline necessarily in terms of its grammar. It's simply the imperative, come. Idita, this is from edo. It means I know. This is the aorist, second person plural, and it is used idiomatically to mean to come and see, or to come and know. And so the idea is she's commanding these men now to come and know, or come and see. Anthropon, this is the accusative, singular, the word anthropos, come and see a man. Hos, relative pronoun, who, apen, third person singular, aorist, active indicative, come and see a man who said, moi, to me, the personal pronoun, first person, dative case, who said to me, panta hosa, everything, whatever, is the idea. Everything, whatsoever is the notion here. Epoiesa, the first person singular, aorist active indicative of poieo, to know. It isn't, of course, an exaggeration. It's speaking in excited hyperbole. Come and see a man who told me everything that I've ever done. Jesus had not really done that, but the sense the woman had from the conversation that indeed had taken place between them suggested that Jesus could have. And certainly he did reveal and show his knowledge of those things that may have been the most embarrassing to the woman. The fact that she'd been married 5 times and was currently living with a man who was not her husband. But it seems that in the gush of the excitement and enthusiasm of having had this conversation, she now is prepared to make this rather remarkable admission and declare to these men that they should come and see this. Meti hutos, not this one, estin is ho Christos. It's actually grammatically phrased here as if it were expecting a negative answer. This is not the Christ, is it? And yet the way it's stated here is, of course, suggesting that could it not be that this one actually is the Christ? It's a rather remarkable way that she states it, because, of course, from her point of view, she's become convinced that that's precisely who this one is, and yet she frames the question to these men expecting a negative answer, and yet, of course, the whole point is to invite them to come and check it out for themselves, to not necessarily believe her testimony simply because she says it, but to come and investigate the question on their own. And so the wonderful enthusiasm that's reflected here by this woman's interaction with these men, of course, is going to lead to them indeed doing exactly what she is commanded, to come and see this one who she claims may very well be the Christ.